Thank you for having me, Esther. So, the issue of period poverty is a top priority for me, especially in South Africa, because this is a phenomenon that's affecting about 7 million girls in South Africa. This means that about 7 million girls are missing out on school every single day across the country. And in a society that is already set up against women, this is just further perpetuating gender inequality and educational opportunities for girls. So, in order to combat this issue, I've been working with a lot of partner organizations on the ground in South Africa to try and strategize ways that we can tackle this issue of period poverty, either through advocacy efforts or even strategic litigation.
Now let's move on to you, being the lawyer there in South Africa. Tell us about a litigation case, one litigation case where you sought justice and won.
So, a very prominent case that was heard in the South African courts, and we actually received judgment in this case a few weeks ago, is the case that was brought by an organization called the Embrace Project, as well as a rape survivor. And this case sought to challenge rape laws in South Africa, specifically on the issue of consent, to the extent that these laws don't actually protect survivors of rape. In this case, I represented the Center for Human Rights and the Psychological Society, and we put forward a lot of information on how survivors respond in situations of sexual assault and how this affects their ability to refuse or withdraw their consent. Judgment was handed down a few weeks ago, and we were quite successful in this case. The provisions of the Criminal Law Act were declared unconstitutional, and we believe that this judgment is going to have a very significant effect in helping survivors attain justice. And as this case progresses to the Constitutional Court, I hope to be representing the Center for Human Rights and advocating for the justice of survivors.
It's amazing to see how young you are and doing great work now. What are you working on next?
So currently, I am an independent legal practitioner at the Johannesburg Bar, but I'm also the in-house counsel at the Center for Human Rights. So I have the task of litigating a number of human rights cases, from children's rights to rights involving persons with disabilities, women and girls' rights as well. So some of the cases that we have on at the moment are before regional mechanisms, such as the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, where we're advocating for the rights of children in Nigeria who have been severely impacted by accusations of witchcraft. So this is just some of the cases that we're working on. Some of the other work that I do is also on improving access to sexual and reproductive health rights, not just in South Africa, but also across the continent as well. And so we're really hoping to use advocacy and litigation to create an impact on the ground.
And very quickly, Tamika, where do you see the place of women in South Africa?
Right at the top. I think our Chief Justice, Mandisa Maya, is actually setting the example and paving the way. She was the first female Chief Justice that has been appointed in South Africa. The work that she has done throughout her career and the impact that she's making now just proves that when women are represented in positions of leadership, they can create a really big impact for women on the ground.